Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Stephanie Okafor from John Salmon Estate. This afternoon, I think about an hour ago, we've just had a very upset landlord that just left the office and demonstrated his frustration by telling us what he's been through in regards to a few of the agent that is contracted to manage his property, and which has led to my video this afternoon and talking more about my book, the book I published last year, titled Why Landlords and Tenants Fall Out of Love. And if you all remember from my last video when I published the book, was the purpose of writing this book was to help cement the relationship between a landlord and a tenant. And I believe we as the agents, we have a role to play in making sure that that relationship goes well, and besides helping them to manage and understand their expectations either as a landlord or as a tenant. And in my book, I'm just going to go through chapter 1, which explains the situation the landlord was in regards to his agent. And I believe that not enough check was conducted in regards to the letting agents they used. And I'm just going to read few paragraphs just to explain what I mean. In the chapter 1, the title is Getting to Know Each Other, which I titled it at the dating period, because I believe we also know in a marriage, for you to actually get married, you need to go through the process of getting to know one another. And I believe for you to contract a letting agent in the first place, you need to actually conduct your due diligence, know who they are, who they are registered, who they are members of. Those are things that I believe that are very important. I'll read the first paragraph, which says, I'm sure you're all aware of the saying, there's no such thing as a perfect landlord or a perfect tenant. I don't believe there is a perfect agent either, which is ours. I think as individuals, we are working towards perfection, which is the same thing within a marriage, which is what I just said before reading the chapter. Then also the second or third paragraph, I covered saying you also have to do your due diligence about immigration status. You need to know the status of your tenants, whether they're British or not. You still need to have a copy of their passport, employment references, the guarantor's details, so that in some cases, if you're not convinced they earn as much as you would want them to, you can ask for guarantors that are willing to guarantee the rent. Because he also explained to me that he had a tenant that no due diligence was conducted, but I think that was a property managed by himself, and I think after the first month the tenants became unemployed and status and so many things happened. And I believe due diligence is an important factor, and which I covered in more detail in my book. I'm going to also read another paragraph which says, all estate agents have due diligence requirements that they must conduct before taking on a property from a landlord. So I would advise that when you want to find your properties, please look for agents that are licensed members with a property mark. With registered agents, you are sure that they have done due diligence checks on their landlords. When you have reputable agents, which is what I told the gentleman that left my office, but we were able to give him a copy of the book. And when you conduct these checks, is to help you, because when they are members of, like you can see behind me, we are members of Property Ombudsman. They had the body that helps when you have disputes between landlords, or you have a complaint in regards to an agent. You move on to the body there, and they'll be able to help. And also you also need to check if your agents are members of Property Alamark or their NA or any of the associations. Like we are members of Ala Property Mark, and we have been since opening since 2014, and so we are obliged to act in a certain way that the association requires of us. So the checklist for a landlord: have you referred your agent, that is, are they members of Property Ombudsman? Are they licensed agents registered with a property mark? If letting and managing by yourself, have you conducted referencing of the tenants? In regards to the tenants, do you know how reputable and trustworthy your agents are? How well do you know your landlord? In regards to an agent, have you conducted landlord and due diligence check on both landlord and proposed tenants? Below are 3 life examples that relate to conducting a proper research before getting into the property agreement. I'm just going to go through one of the examples. There are 3 examples which I cited in chapter 1. And the third one is, I was assigned a property to manage by a landlord. While getting to know her and the property, I asked how she had previously managed the property and why she decided to pass it on to an agent rather than manage it herself. She told me the story of how she came to the decision. She got a certain tenant through a window display advert. On a particular Monday, she got a call from the police saying they needed to speak to her about a tenant of hers. The police asked for the name, but she did not have any tenants in that name. Then the police booked an appointment to see her, and when asked if she knew the person in the picture, she said yes, but with a different name. Can you all say the importance of conducting a due diligence, not just on your tenant, also on your landlord, or also on your agents, which helps you relieve the stress of whatever might happen in the future. And that brings me to the end of chapter 1. If you don't have a copy, I would advise you to get a copy of this. It covers a lot of real life stories, real life issues. My husband also shared a story as a landlord, as a tenant. So I believe this book will help to understand, and I believe problem solved is half problem known. So once you know how to solve your problems, then I think won't be as bad as it is. Thank you very much. If you have more questions in regards to landlord and tenant law or any particular questions, please do give me a call on 0203-601-4664. My email address is info@johnsamuelestate.co.uk, and our website is www.johnsamuelestate.co.uk. And we are also available on all the social media platforms, which is Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Thank you very much for listening. Stephanie Okafor. Thank you.